Hey everybody, my name's Mike and I'm with the MJ Amesden Furniture Company. Today I would like to describe to you the level spring bender. This tool here is made for installing and removing Zig Zag springs. If you have a piece of furniture with Zig Zag springs and you suspect that there's a broken one inside your sofa or chair, I will show you how to remove and replace the broken spring. The first thing you have to do is remove enough upholstery to get to the spring. Once you have done that, you will find these little clips. These little Zig Zag spring clips. There will be some in the front and in the back of your seat. Normally, these are held in with staples. You're going to have to remove the staples. The first staple you're going to have to remove is a top staple that holds this clip down and also helps hold the clip to the frame. Once you have removed your staples, you're going to need to take a flat head screwdriver or something similar and bend the end of this tab up enough to get the spring out. You may also find that the problem you're having isn't the spring at all, but the clip is broken. But in either case, there's a good chance you're going to need to use the level spring bender or the Zig Zag spring removal tool. In some cases, you won't need the tool at all. Sometimes these springs are in loose enough so you can actually remove them by hand. And in that case you can also install a new spring by hand. In a lot of cases, these springs are in much tighter than that. And depending on what kind of person you are, even if they're in loose, you still may find that the use of the spring removal tool definitely makes the problem much easier. Now, if your spring is already broke, you're not going to have to worry about removing, because it's going to be broke and it's going to be easy to take this spring out. But you will find you're going to want this tool when it comes to reinstalling the new spring. The use of this tool is a relatively simple process. Basically, the metal end with the hook goes around part of the spring, and the wooden part goes on the front of the frame. Hook it around your spring, this part on the front of the frame. You pull it back, and you want to use your free hand just to lift the spring up to clear the clip. And you can install in the reverse manner. Once you have removed the old spring and installed the new one, right where the staple was, you can replace the staple with a drywall screw. One screw is usually sufficient, and you can use two if you want, but I tend to only use one. And also make sure that you drill a pilot hole. Usually a 1/8 inch drill bit works well for a pilot hole for a drywall screw. If the springs on your sofa or chair are in very tight to where you can't do this without the tool, trying to do it without the tool can be extremely dangerous. very often where these springs have been cut, it can be razor sharp. If you were to be struggling with this and it slipped, you could very easily sever this artery in your wrist, and that could be a very dangerous situation. So if you're attempting a project and you need to install these springs, I highly recommend a level spring bender. I would also like to add that if you're buying your springs, there's a good possibility they may have to be cut to size. Any pair of bolt cutters that you can find at a local hardware store or big box store is the best way I found to cut your springs. A right angle grinder with a cutoff disc works also, but I think these are a little more convenient than a grinder. Remember that springs are hardened steel. You're not going to be able to cut those with a hacksaw. This next tool isn't necessarily essential, but it's nice to have if you'd like to put a little professional flair on your Zig Zag spring install. What this tool does is it just puts like a little dog leg on the end of your spring, and that's done by putting your spring in the hole in the edge of this bar. The little wheel here holds the spring, and it just puts a little formed bend on it. I will also leave a link in the description on where you can purchase this tool. This is called a spring edge forming tool. If you have a piece of furniture at home that requires Zig Zag spring replacement, I hope you found this video helpful. In the description below, I will leave a link where you can purchase the level spring bender on Amazon. It costs you no extra to buy from this link, but my channel earns a small commission on every sale, and it really helps the channel, and I'd really appreciate it. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.